This is the hardest Star Wars quiz you can attempt. Hi guys, today I've created a quiz for hardcore Star Wars fans. It's designed with multiple rounds, starting with easy and going to impossible, with a fun variety of rounds in between. 50% is a pass, but to prove yourself as a true Jedi, your goal is to aim for a score of 70% or more. Can you do it? Let's find out. Also, getting 90% is Grand Master level, which is a phenomenal achievement if you can do it. First up is the easy round, which has only 5 questions. This one shouldn't be too bad. By the way, the last round does get very hard, so take advantage of these early points while you can. First question, what does BBY stand for? For each question I will give you 10 seconds to answer, but feel free to pause the video, I don't really mind if you do that. BBY stands for Before Battle of Yavin, which is the battle at the end of A New Hope. Alright, next question. How are Anakin and Orin Lars related? They were stepbrothers, with Shmi Skywalker being Orin Lars' stepmother. Next question. What was Kanan Jarrus' original name? The answer to that was Caleb Doom. Now to question 4. What planet is Cloud City on? Okay, so Cloud City is in the clouds and not on the surface, but I'm counting that as on this planet. The answer is Bespin. And for the final question of the easy round, what species celebrates Life Day? The answer is the Wookiees, and this was first introduced in the holiday special, which I assume you probably knew, but probably best not to go looking up the holiday special because it's not particularly great. And that's easy over. Now to medium, another 5 question round, but slightly harder. I still believe you've got this though. So for question 5, when was the Jedi Order founded? The answer is 25,025 BBY, although I will allow 25,000 BBY as well, as this is only the medium round. Question 7. What is the species of Salacious bee crumb? The answer is of course a Kowakian monkey lizard. Very fun species name. Question 8. What is the Cantina Band song called in canon? Other than Cantina Band, obviously. I mean, I'd just be giving you the answer then. The answer to that is Mad About Me. What a tune. Question 9. Where did the character of Boba Fett first appear? So I'm looking for some Star Wars content, not a location which he appeared. The answer is the holiday special. Another holiday special reference. How's that happened? And for the final question of the medium round, which dead Jedi did the Grand Inquisitor use to lure in Jedi? The answer is Luminara Unduli. This occurred in the first series of Star Wars Rebels. And that marks the end of the medium round. I hope that round went well for you. Now we've got our first special round, the picture round. This one with 12 questions. In this round, I'll show you pictures of different characters or species, and all you have to do is tell me who they are. The difficulty varies quite a bit here, so be ready. Who is this? We've got an interesting one to start with, from The Empire Strikes Back, a little clue for you there, but do you know who it is? The answer, of course, is Lobot. Next is this guy. I'm sure you remember this guy, but do you remember his name? The answer is Freck. Obviously, he appeared in the Kenobi TV show and was passed around quite a bit in discussion at the time. I hope you remember that name, but if not, let's see if you can get the next one. Who is this? That was R2-Q5. Quite a difficult one, but if you grew up playing LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, you may have remembered that. On to question 14. Who is this? The answer is Tarful. Well done if you got that. Now on to a comic one. Who is this? That was General Grievous, before he had the cybernetics. That was a bit of a trick question, but I hope you saw through that and got the answer. On to question 16. Who is this delightful looking fella? The answer is Peo, or if you want to use his full name, I'll also accept Peodok Dravatakat Sap Directi Nick Link Tiki Vetnik Nesevaflikek. Next is another comic one. What species is this? That was a Star Weird. Well done if you got that. Now on to question 18, and we've got an interesting looking one here, but do you know who it is? That was Jackson T. Tumperaki, but I'll also accept the name Jax. Quite an interesting character, that one. I'd definitely recommend looking him up if you don't know who he is. Now to question 19, who is this? That was Wilro Hood, who was actually an extra in The Empire Strikes Back, but the fandom kind of picked him out and now he's known. Now to question 20, who is this droid? The answer to that was L337. Another species next. What species is this? That was a Gygoran. I absolutely love the design of the Gygorans. Makes you just want to give them a big old hug. And finally, the last picture round question. Although spoiler alert, there'll be some more pictures later. Who is this? That was Jasper. Don't worry if you didn't get that, that was the hardest question of this round. By the way, Jasper could be found in the cantina in A New Hope. And with that round done, we've got another special round next. This time, the Yarael Poof round. With only 3 questions. I mean, our profile picture is Yarael Poof, I couldn't help but give him a round. So, question 23. What species is Yarael Poof? Yarael Poof is a Quirmian. Next Yarael Poof question. Why was Yarael Poof removed from Attack of the Clones? He was removed because he looked too similar to the Kaminoans. If you wrote something to that effect, well done, you bagged a point. And for the last Yarael Poof question, who replaced Yarael Poof on the Jedi Council? The answer is Coleman Trebor, the Dinosaur Jedi. Well, that's his unofficial name. And with that round done, let's get back to the regular rounds, shall we? This time, the hard round, with 10 questions. Question 26. Who was the Supreme Chancellor before Palpatine? I'm looking for his first name and his surname here. That was Finis Valorum. Congrats if you got that. Question 27. What planet are the Chiss from? The Chiss are from the planet Scylla, a planet which is in the unknown regions. Now to question 28. What was Finn's Stormtrooper number? The answer is FN2187, and the number here is actually the same number as Leia's cell number in A New Hope, in case you hadn't heard that fact before. Anyway, let's move on to question 29. Who killed Pong Krell? The answer is the clone Dogma. Now to question 30. Who played Boba Fett in the original trilogy? The answer is Jeremy Bulloch. Well done if you got that, because it's not like he's a massive name actor. On to question 31. What are the Lost 20? The Lost 20 were a group of Jedi Masters who had left the Order throughout its history. They were commemorated by busts in the Jedi archives. Question 32. What unusual practice did members of the Ba'omar Order undertake? The answer is that they transplanted their brains into jars. If you wrote something like that, well done, you've got the point. Question 33. What are the Great Mothers named after in Ahsoka? The answer is Greek gods. But if you wrote the Moirai or the Fates, well done, you've got the point as well. Those are just more specific answers. Question 34. Roughly how old is the Exegolf in The Empire Strikes Back? That is the space slug which tries to eat the Millennium Falcon. The answer is over 1 billion years old. Crazy, right? And question 35, the last question of this round. What colour was Terra Sanube's lightsaber? His lightsaber was light blue, a very rare lightsaber colour. Okay, I hope the hard round went well for you, but if it didn't, take heart, as the next round is true or false. Hopefully you can rack up some points here before we get to the impossible round. There's 10 questions here. Question 36. We've never seen a non-hybrid feline in canon. That is false. We have actually seen non-hybrid felines, such as Latsrazi. Question 37. In canon, no one found Yoda on Dagobah other than Luke Skywalker. Of course, this is not including Obi-Wan, who appeared there as a Force ghost, or R2-D2 actually. Now that was actually false. The archivist, formerly known as Madeline's son, actually found Yoda on Dagobah in the comic issue Crimson Reign 3. Question 38. Count Dooku has become vampiric before in canon. That one is actually true. The vampiric creature, Ravna, infected him briefly in the comic issue Tales from Vader's Castle 2. I absolutely love this fact as it really just pays homage to Christopher Lee's extensive career playing Dracula for many years. And question 39, there are no named Porgs in Star Wars. And that was false. There's actually 9 named Porgs, including Puffy and Turbus. The name Turbus actually coming from a fan. Question 40. In canon, Coruscant's years are exactly the same length as Earth's. I can confirm by the way that I specified canon, because canon and legends have different length years for Coruscant. The answer to this was actually false, because their years are actually 365 days, but without a leap year. This means that the years are not the same, as of course every 4 years we have 366, which is not the same as 365. Question 41. Both Spock and Kirk are referenced in canon Star Wars material. The answer to this is true. They were referenced in The Will Strike Back in From a Certain Point of View, The Empire Strikes Back. What an interesting story, by the way. Question 42. In canon, Aura Singh was once a Jedi. The answer to this is true. This is mentioned in the reference book Star Wars Jedi vs. Sith. Question 43. Tatooine was once covered in oceans and rainforests. This one is also true. This was mentioned in the reference book Ultimate Star Wars. Question 44. There is a Jedi in canon called Ka'ung Fu. And this is another true one. He was mentioned in the junior novel The Empire Strikes Back, So You Want to Be a Jedi. And can I just say, what a crazy name that is for a Jedi. Yeah, let's call him Kung Fu. And for question 45, there is light side magic in canon. By the way, I'm not including like just general usage of the Force, which people like Jedi did. I mean magic. The answer to this is true. The character Orphney from the Clone Wars episode Mercy Mission could do magic, and Dave Filoni likened her to a light side equivalent of the Night Sisters. And that brings us to the end of the true or false round. Now is the time we've all been waiting for, the impossible round. If you get 10 out of 10 here, you deserve a medal. Time to lock in. Question 46. What rare genetic condition does Aruba the Hutt have? The answer is albinism. Question 47. Elements from which non-Star Wars film were added to StarWars.com's databank as part of an April Fool's joke in 2006? The answer is Willow, another Lucasfilm franchise. Question 48. Who hatched from the Geonosian Click-Clack's egg from Star Wars Rebels? The answer is Karina. That being Karina who first appeared in the comic issue Darth Vader 4 from 2015, and not the Karina from the Clone Wars, although they had the same name. And question 49, the wisdom of Master Fogo Charu, Jedi, is an in-universe book entirely dedicated to what? And this one is a multiple choice question, the first one of the game. Will that help? Let's find out. Your options are idioms, fishing, combat styles, or meditation. The answer to this is fishing. What a crazy thing for a Jedi Master to make a book of wisdom on. I absolutely love this fact. Question 50. What is Han Solo's father's name? Now, Han Solo's father's name is different in canon and legends. I will accept either answer for this question. The answer to this is Ovan for canon, but if you go in the legends route, I'll also accept John Ash. Question 51. Which Sith Lord had a sickle-bladed lightsaber? Another multiple choice question. Your options are Darth Quellis, Darth Noctis, Darth Sangis, or Darth Caldoth. The answer was Darth Noctis. And on to question 52. Bib Fortuna's cousin is called what? Another multiple choice question. Your options are Bub, Bondir, Fish, or Beezer. The answer is Beezer, although I really wish it was Fish. Question 53. Which song was converted into Huttese for the Skeleton Crew trailer? The answer is Major Tom, which is a song unofficially related to Bowie's Space Oddity. By the way, this song in canon is called Yungi Wim, brackets Bunky Dunko. What a cool sounding song. I absolutely love that they did this for Skeleton Crew, although I really wish it had made an appearance in the actual show, even if just the credits. Question 54. What is the name of this trooper variant from The Rise of Skywalker? Is it Sovereign Protector, Praetorian Protector, the Profligate Guard, or the Sith Guardian? The answer is the Sovereign Protector. And on to the last question of the quiz. Question 55. What dwarf satellite galaxy was located 12 parsecs away from Camino? The answer is the Rishi Maze. This was actually mentioned in Attack of the Clones. And that marks the end of the quiz. Let's see how you did. There were 55 questions in total, so if you got 28 or more, congratulations, you passed. If you got 39 or more, then well done, you've earned the True Jedi achievement. you know your stuff. Finally, if you got 49 or more, then you are a Jedi Grandmaster. Honestly, well done if that's you, because that's actually crazy good Star Wars knowledge. And don't feel disheartened if you didn't get 49, because this was a difficult quiz, and 90% is not easy. Anyway, that's all for today. Please let us know how you did in the comments, and we hope to see you later at Vault Holocron.